Welcome to the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast. My name is Katie Dodd, and I'm a nutrition entrepreneur. I spent 7 years as a side hustler before diving into entrepreneurship full time. Before making the leap, I was bringing in 6 figures through my side hustle. If I can do it, you can too. This podcast is for dietitians, interns, and students who want to be inspired to start or perfect the side hustle of their dreams. Let's do this. Hello and welcome to the 185th episode of the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast, Build a Life You Love. So the day that I'm recording this, it is Valentine's Day 2024. So happy Valentine's Day if you are listening to this in real time. But as I thought about what do I want to share with you guys today, as we are on Valentine's Day, this is a day all about love. Let's talk about building a life that you love, one that you are so grateful and so happy and so fulfilled, where you wake up in the morning and you pinch yourself thinking, I cannot believe I get to live this life. Now, so much behind my brand, behind Dietitian Side Hustle, is that I want to pull out greatness in you. I want to take those dreams that you have inside of you, those ideas that you have inside of you, and get them out into the world, because I know that if we could do that, the world would be radically changed. Not just the big world, but your individual world. So I think why this is so important to me is because I'm actively living in dreams that I never thought were possible. And I just walk around my house and I'm so happy. And I'm just like, I can't believe this is my life. I have been a full-time entrepreneur for over 2 years now, and I am still completely blown away by what I get to do. I was just reflecting last night. We just had our welcome call for the BAT Platinum program. I shared a little bit about that on the last episode, and it was amazing. Like, we have the best group of healthcare entrepreneurs who are pursuing their dreams, who are taking action, who are trusting the process. And I was just reflecting on how grateful I am that these amazing humans are trusting me to help them on their journey, and how lucky am I that I get to be a part of their journey. I get to walk alongside them, cheer them on, help them in places where they'll get stuck. And I just have the best job in the whole wide world. Just a couple weeks ago, I got back from Phoenix, where we had our Arizona retreat for the Blog Boss Mastermind. And I have this incredible job that gives me the freedom and flexibility to be home with my kids, to get them off to school in the morning, to be here to help with homework when they get home, to be able to travel and speak and help people and impact people. And it's just the biggest privilege. It really, really is. And I've probably shared this before, but if I were to win the lottery tomorrow, I probably won it because I don't really play the lottery. If you don't play, you can't win. But if I won $1 billion tomorrow, I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't. I would still be doing this podcast. I would still be doing the Blogging Accelerator program. I would still be doing the Blog Boss Mastermind. Like, I love what I do, and I love the life that I built and the things that I have outside of the work that I do. So for me, as I'm in this situation, I'm like, oh my gosh, what feels impossible is possible, because I am living proof. And I want each and every one of you listening to build a life that you love, like all of it. Not like, well, I like 90% of my life, but not this part. This part can use some work. I want you to love it all, because this is the only life that you get to live. And tomorrow's not promised. I just gave a talk to some students at Columbia University yesterday about nutrition end of life. And the first question I asked is, I forget exactly how I phrased it, but pretty much, how comfortable are you talking about death? Because I'm a geriatric dietitian, and it's something that we are uncomfortable talking about, and we don't talk about a lot. But the truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter if you're young, if you're old. Tomorrow isn't promised for any of us. And it can be so easy to put off till tomorrow, like, I'll do this later, I'll do this when life is less crazy, I'll do this, whatever the excuse our brain tells us. But tomorrow's not promised. And I want you guys to make the most of this one life you get to live. So let's dive a little bit more into this. And what I want to talk to you guys about is looking at the picture of our whole life. So I am not just talking about build a side hustle you love. I'm not just talking about build a job you love, build a business you love. I'm talking about building a life that you love. So if we were to look at your life, I want you to look at the whole picture. So I have this thing called the Fulfilling Five, and I thought I did a podcast episode on it, but maybe I just like imagined that because I was scrolling back. I'm like, have I ever talked about this on the podcast? Maybe I have. But I actually sell a journal on Amazon called the My Fulfilling Five Journal. If you go to katiedodd.com, it's my link tree. You scroll down to the bottom, you'll actually see I sell this product. And I teach it in my Beyond the 9 to 5 coaching course too. This is something I came up with a long time ago. You've probably heard many versions of it. The Fulfilling Five is there's 5 F's. They stand for family, finance, fitness, faith, and focus. And as I talk about all of these, I want you to be thinking about how satisfied am I with all of these areas? Do I feel like this is like am I doing well in this area? Do I feel like there's a struggle in this area, or is this something I really need to work on? Because I feel like maybe 4 of these areas are amazing, but one area is really lacking. And again, I want you to build a life that you love where you have this balanced whole life and things are amazing in all the areas. And I'm not saying like life is always perfect and it's always rainbows and sunshine, right? I mean, life is full of ups and downs, but sometimes there's things that are in our life that we're like, oh, I know I shouldn't be in this situation. I wish things could be different. And so, as I share this, actually, I would love for you guys to think as I talk about each of the 5 areas, think to yourself, how would I rate myself in this section? How satisfied, how in love with life am I in this area? And if it helps you, maybe think of, you could say like a yes or no, or you could say like on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being like, man, I am not doing well in this area of life. 10 would be, I am crushing it. And then in between, always area for improvement. So the first part of the Fulfilling Five, family. So this is your family. It could be blood family, but then also your friends, right? The family we choose. And community is such an important part of being a human, right? So when we think of family, when we think of our friends, when we think of our tribe, our circle, how satisfied are you in this area? Are there things that you're like, oh, I need to do better in that, or oh, I need to get this person out of my life, or oh, I need to build up this area, or I need to spend more time with these people that I love. And when I talk about family, I talk about serving people and being served. So how much are you giving to those that you love, but then also allowing them to serve you, and how much are you receiving? So if you were to rate yourself, how satisfied are you with your tribe, your family, your friends? Next is finances. And this could look like work, but then also how you spend your money. So, work, your traditional job, work, your side hustle, work, your full time entrepreneurship. So, the money you're bringing in. But then your finances or your money looks like, well, how are you spending your money? Are you in an immense amount of credit card debt? Do you find yourself buying things that you're like, oh, I shouldn't be buying that? Or do you find yourself like, man, I wish I could buy more of these things, go on more trips, do more travel? It, kind of reflecting if you were to rate on a scale of 1 to 10. How satisfied are you with your financial situation? The next one is fitness, and this just means health. I was trying to stick with F's here, okay. So when we talk about health, breaking it down into a couple areas, and this could look like physical fitness. How well are you moving your body, taking care of yourself, but then also nutrition, right? I know we're dietitians, but we need to hear it too. Are you eating foods that make you feel good? How is your relationship with food? Are you staying hydrated? Like all those things. So really reflecting on, am I taking care of my body and treating it in a way that makes me feel good and makes me feel better? I know for me, exercise is a non-negotiable when it comes to my mental health. If I don't move my body, I feel it in my mental health. So for me, it's a non-negotiable. And my favorite types of exercise, in case you wanted to know, is I love going for walks outside and I love yoga. I'm really into yin yoga lately. Yin yoga is where you like hold these stretches for a long period of time. It is phenomenal and very relaxing. So, how would you rate yourself when it comes to your fitness or your health? Next, we have faith. And when I'm talking about faith, this could look like spiritual faith. It could look like faith in God, or it could just be like the spiritual part of you, because I know we're all very different. And when I break down faith, I kind of look at like meditation and memoirs. So meditation would be like spending quiet time with yourself, being able to think, maybe journaling. It could look like prayer, whatever it looks like for your personal life. But how well are you managing your faith, or really that more spiritual side of your life? How would you rate that? And then finally, focus. And what I mean by focus is whole health. I mean, looking at the picture of, Really rest and revive. Rest is, are you taking time to rest? Are you just grinding all the time? Are you taking time to yourself? Are you prioritizing yourself? But then also, are you doing self-care activities? And self-care activities look like different things to everyone. It could be a bubble bath or it could be something completely different, right? But are you doing those things to take care of yourself? I think as dietitians, as mostly women, we tend to be people who put ourselves last. We take care of everyone else. And then if there's time, we might take care of ourselves. But let's be honest, there's never time. Do you prioritize that? How would you rate how well you're taking care of really your whole health and self care? So, is there anything that stood out as I talked about this? Is there something you're like, oh my gosh, I am crushing it in finances, fitness, faith, and focus, but man, I need to work on some family stuff? Or maybe you're like, I really want to make changes in everything. Or you might be like, no, I feel like I'm good. Like life is so good. And so I hope this is helpful as I paint this picture. As I've gone through my own journey, I've continued to focus on how can I make the most out of this one life that I have? How can I make sure that I'm not neglecting one area when I'm really focused on another? So if I'm really focused on my business, making sure that I'm not neglecting my health, I'm not neglecting my faith, I'm not neglecting my family. And it really can be hard to balance. And sometimes we don't even think about it. You might have not have ever thought about it until I started listing this out for you guys. But really just taking time to reflect on how am I doing in everything, and are there things that I want to change, either things I want to take away or things that I want to add. So along with this, kind of looking at the whole picture of our lives and how we're doing, my next question for you is, what do you want? What do you want? We all have big dreams, and I've just found that so many dietitians, they dream small. They dream so small because I think we are afraid to speak out into the world what we really want for a lot of reasons. It feels impossible. We don't want to say we'll do something and then, it doesn't happen and then people will know we're a failure. We have that who do I think I am, that imposter syndrome. We don't want us to be seen as greedy. We feel like, well, that worked for them, but that would never work for me. Like we have all these like doubts in our heads about why our big dreams aren't possible. And so often we don't even say what we really, really, really want. Now, I've shared a lot of my story on the podcast and webinars and talks that I've done. But in 2019, I set an income goal of I wanted to make $300 a month in my side hustle. That was my big, big dream. And I set it because I just wanted to be able to pay a bill. I just wanted to have a little bit of breathing room. I was feeling, the stress of adulting and having children and having bills and living paycheck to paycheck and feeling like, man, I could barely keep my head around above water. I just want to make enough money so I could breathe. That was my big goal. Now that I'm on the other side of things and I look back, in 2019, was that what I wanted? Did I just want to be able to pay a bill? Did I just want to have some breathing room? No. What I wanted, deep, deep down, even though I didn't say it, and maybe on some levels I didn't know it, I wanted to leave my job. I wanted to be more present with my children while they were still in the home. And I wanted more time and money to do things with my kids that I couldn't. So when I look back and I reflect on, well, why did I set a goal of $300 a month and not leaving my job? It really comes down to all those limiting beliefs that I had. I think also I didn't know it was possible. I hope by listening to this podcast, you understand that anything is possible, especially the impossible. I was in the wrong rooms with the wrong people. I wasn't around dreamers. I wasn't around people who were doing the things I wanted to do, the people who were like doing better than me. I wasn't in those rooms. And I had a lot of self-doubt, a lot of who do I think I am, a lot of like, I don't want to charge for things because people will think I'm greedy. Like I had a lot of stuff I had to work through. So I'm sharing that example of a story is that I'm almost sure that each and every one of you probably has a really, really big dream that you've never said to anyone. And it might be so buried that you don't even know what it is. And you might have to take some time to reflect on like, what do I really, really, really want? And that could look like leaving your job. That could look like leaving a toxic relationship. That could look like finally pursuing the thing that you've always had on your heart to do, but you've never done because you're too scared. So much greatness is on the other side of fear. When we are able to dig deep and figure out what we really, really want, and we're able to speak it out into the world, it's possible. I guess I'm kind of going on a tangent here, but I really want to drive home to you guys that I don't want you to dream small. I don't want you to play safe. I don't want you to choose to say like, maybe the PC answer or the safe answer or whatever it is. I just want you to really figure out, what do I want? And what do I want in all areas of my life, for my family, my finances, my fitness, my faith, my focus? Like, what do you want? And it's not that easy. I know I'm like, just what do you want? It really is hard because there's a lot of gunk that gets in the way as we try to pull that out. So let's talk about this. Building a life that you love, because it is possible. So what I want you to do is, I have 4 steps for you. The first step is, I want you to really take time to think, take time to dream, take quiet time. Actually, I'm just going to say this real quick. We're so busy in the day to day. I want you to actually be intentional about finding time away from your phone, away from screens, away from children, away from family members, and be somewhere that you feel at peace. This could be nature. This could be a coffee shop. This could be hiding in your closet from your children, wherever you feel like you're able to think and to dream. And I want you to get a pen and paper, and I just want you to start dreaming. Like, what do you want? 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. So step number 1, give yourself time to dream and be honest about what you really want. What does a dream life look like to you? Once you get that out and you're like really, really honest, you're able to say that thing that maybe you've never said before. I want you to make a plan. What are the steps that I need to do to get to where I want to go? And you don't have to have all the answers. Part of your plan might be step 1, figure out how to do the thing, because I have no idea. But make a plan. So that way it's not just an idea. First we got to get that idea out of your head, get it on paper, but then we got to make a plan on, okay, what am I going to do to make this a reality? Step number 3, I want you to get in the right rooms. And what do I mean by that? I want you to get in the right rooms with the right people. Find your community. Maybe that means finding a coach. Maybe that means finding an online program. Maybe that means reading books, listening to podcasts, finding resources. But I want you to get in the right rooms with the right people that is going to help you to achieve those goals with the skill set, the tool set, the mindset, the accountability, everything that you need. And then number 4, do the thing. Do the thing, even if it feels impossible, even if it's hard, even if it takes a long time, even if the path looks different as you go along. Do the thing. So step 1, be honest about what you really want, make a plan, get in the right rooms with the right people, and do the thing. And I know that's very oversimplified. It is a journey, but I want each and every one of you listening to know that you can build your dream life. I've been able to build a dream life, one that I'm so, so grateful for. I mentioned it's Valentine's Day. I got up today. I got my daughter off to school. I went and got some coffee and these really cute dried flowers. It was like a special that my coffee shop was doing. Then I went to my daughter's school and volunteered, and it was a pancake breakfast for all the 3rd graders. So I got to serve up pancakes and, put the syrup, whipped cream, chocolate syrup. Like I had so much fun being able to go to my daughter's school, and then got home and I hopped on a call with my blog boss mastermind, which is a pure joy to do. And probably after I record this podcast, well, actually, yes, after I record this podcast, I'm going on a walk. And I'm just so grateful that I have time freedom, financial freedom. I have flexibility. I'm actively living in this dream that I never thought was possible. I never thought this was for me. I'd look at other people doing something like this and be like, yeah, go you. You are amazing. But not me. So I hope this is resonating with you. I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. But what I want you to commit to is taking one step today. I want you to take one step towards building a life that you love. That one step could look like those, the 4 things I told you: taking time to dream, making a plan, getting in the right rooms, and doing the thing. It could also look like just taking time to reflect, focusing on your fulfilling 5. How do I feel about all the areas of my life? Is there an area that I'm like, man, this area is giving me a lot of stress. This area is giving me a lot of anxiety. This area is really throwing my whole life out of orbit, and I need to take care of that. So the journey of building your dream life, of course, isn't like super easy peasy. It's not overnight. It's a journey, but it starts with awareness. It starts with intention, and it starts with taking massive action. I saw this quote, and I'm going to pull it up on my phone. as I am recording because I feel like I put it into a Instagram post because I loved it so much. Let's see if I could find it. Oh, I think it was in the book 75 Hard. I was like so impressed with it. I'm like, oh, that's a great quote. Oh, shoot. I don't think I can find it. Okay, I'm going to paraphrase it, but the only problem is when I paraphrase, I tend to completely butcher things. So, what this quote said was if you. Oh, wait. No, I'm not finding it. If you take action, it's possible. If you keep going, it's probable. And I totally butchered that. But what that means is like, if you do something, it's possible that you'll achieve your dreams. Like, right? If you take action, yeah, it's possible. But if you don't stop, if you keep taking action, if you refuse to give up, if you are so focused on what you want and you pursue it relentlessly, it is no longer possible. It is probable. So I guess I want to wrap up this podcast with I want you to build a life that you love because it not only is possible, but if you are committed to doing the thing, it is probable. So thanks for listening to the podcast episode today. I hope that this got you thinking. I hope this got you dreaming. And I want to see each and every one of you live your very best life. That's what I want. So if you want to learn about all the ways we could work together, go to katiedodd.com. I think that's what I got for you today. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I appreciate each and every one of you and have the very best day. Bye, guys.